Good evening and welcome back to Lords for the Vitality Blast. Middlesex are playing here this evening against Essex, the visitors having won the toss and elected to bowl. Adam Collins with you, Isabel Westbury with me. Not quite a must-win game for Middlesex yet, although it's sort of nearing that territory. They're currently the ninth and bottom team in the Southern Group. Essex broke their four-game losing streak at the Oval on Monday night, easily accounting for Surrey. And look, it's well placed. These teams have had some stonking contests over the years.
Yeah, both with a little bit to prove. I think for Middlesex, a win tonight it's not essential, but almost necessary. Whereas Essex, as you say, starting maybe a winning streak. Sam Cook, I'm looking forward to watching him bowl.
Changes galore in terms of the Middlesex team. Four of them in. Nick Gubbins, Daryl Mitchell, the new overseas for his first game, the New Zealander. Nathan Souter back to full fitness, likewise Tom Helm. So the team as named: Stevie Eskenazi, Joe Cracknell had a fantastic week last week, Nick Gubbins, Daryl Mitchell, John Simpson the wicketkeeper, Luke Holman, Chris Green the other overseas, Nathan Souter, Blake Cullen, Tom Helm, and the captain tonight, Stephen Finn, for the first time this season with Owen Morgan on England duty. He's out of the team. Likewise Paul Sterling, who's completed his stint with the club this season as the second overseas. Tim Murtagh has been omitted, likewise Ethan Bamber, but Stephen Finn back at the helm.
Stephen Finn, who's bowled pretty well so far in this format. He's had a good tournament, good economy, lots of wickets as well, so something to prove in all formats of the game as always, but that will be something that Middlesex will be looking forward to having him as skipper once more. More settled side going into the back end of the group stages.
We can see the umpires Paul Baldwin and Ian Gould ready to see the players onto the field. In Essex's case, after winning the toss and bowling, they've got one change. Shane Snader is out of the team for the experience of Jamie Porter as named. Adam Wheater, the wicketkeeper. Will Buttleman, who's in form. Dan Lawrence, the England number 5. Michael Pepper. Jimmy Neesham, the overseas. Ryan Tenduscarter turns 41 next week. Paul Walter, Simon Harmer, the skipper. Porter into the team. Aaron Nijjar and Sam Cook, who was in the wickets on Monday night. A very strong team.
Yeah, Ryan Tenduscarter's a spring chicken compared to some of the others that are doing the rounds in the Vitality Blast. But yes, they absolutely pumped Surrey. Always like that from a Middlesex perspective, of course. So they're coming in with quite some form. As the umpires make their way out, it's Ian Gould and Paul Baldwin. It's an overcast evening here at Lords. I mean, the radar's clear. There shouldn't be any rain. But it's certainly not quite. Oh, look, a bit of warmth to add to the occasion as well.
I'm not quite sure who it was from out. I think it was Jamie Porter, who was taken a bit by surprise by the fire coming out of the ground here at headquarters. Stevie Eskenazi and Joe Cracknell, the opening bats for Middlesex, on their way as well. Fantastic having fans in at Lords tonight. Of course, the second game Middlesex have had at their home ground this season. A couple at Radlett last week. They split the difference. A thrilling victory against Hampshire. A somewhat controversial defeat via Gloucestershire. Then they were beaten heavily by Glamorgan the next night on Friday night over in Cardiff. They were never really in the hunt, chasing 151. But need to bounce back here. They're 1-4 from their 5 games. Essex 2-4, 1 washout. So Essex have played 2 more fixtures. They're 6th on the table, Middlesex 9th. And it looks like we are going to start with spin by Aaron Nijjar. It's going to be Joe Cracknell facing the first ball. What a week he had last week. Back-to-back half centuries. He was the match winner at Radlett in the first of those against Hampshire. An exhilarating 7 for 77 after coming in when Middlesex were reeling at 30 for 3 when he came together with John Simpson. Before Chris Green finished the job with a couple of towering sixes in the 20th and final over.
Yeah, pretty much across the board in terms of the most valuable player on the 23. You're looking at Cracknell for those performances over the last couple of games. A real star for Middlesex and a real prospect in the making. And facing first ball, as you say, stepping up.
And I'll tell you what, we are right in the firing line tonight. It's the short boundary to our side of the ground. Play it called. Run from the first ball as well, comfortably through. So we're calling from underneath Father Time. We've been in the tavern stand through the county championship, briefly back in the press box around the test match, but we are now square of the wicket, deep mid wicket as you're watching Eskenazi face up. Single out towards us. And I tell you what, if they get onto a slog sweep, we're in the game.
Yeah, they say the Lord's Tour is pretty famous, but I think we're getting our own tailored version to make our way around the different vantage points of the ground.
So the two outside the circle are both on the leg side. A deep mid wicket in front of us, and Paul Walter, the giant, is down at deep backward square. Tallest man on the field by some way. There's the sweep. He's timed it well. He's placed it even better. First boundary of the night for Stevie Eskenazi. Good start.
It feels like a very delicate start from Middlesex, and I'm not to say that it's a slow start, but it's a stroking start. No big wallop to the back. Quite happy just to play it as it comes. Nicely timed from these two.
Highest score of 36 so far. Eskenazi had a fantastic season last year. The second leading scorer in the competition with 413 runs at 31. He was influential in the win against Essex here. Middlesex's best all-round performance of the 2020 season. Good diving stop there at point, backward point. Completes the first over, 7 from it.
That's not a bad start from the home side. They'll be happy to have scurried through a couple of singles. Balls felt good on bat. Just need to try and get this campaign going for the home side. The MCC flag fluttering in front of us over the grandstand. It's a breezy evening. The headlights are on already. Floodlights are on already.
Sam Cook gets the first opportunity from the nursery end, and rightly so after his 4 for 15 on Monday night. Signed a new contract yesterday, a 1-year extension. He'll be down at Chelmsford until at least the end of 2023. Got plenty of ambition, the young man.
Real leading light for Essex so far in this tournament. Joint leading wicket taker. I think 2 others alongside him in the tournament. 11 so far.
And towards Pepper, who's sweeping at deep point on the short boundary. So a deep point and a deep square for Cook initially. No protection at fine leg or third man.
I think you find that Sam Cook, like every good county cricketer before him, had a stint playing club cricket in Melbourne at a little club called Prahran.
Club you know well is. Struck that well for one. Pepper's going to have plenty of work sweeping on that rope. Directly beneath us here. I suppose are we still in the tavern stand underneath Father Time, or are we technically in the mound? Hard to tell.
We are sitting on the stairs, Adam Collins.
But there are seats in front of us. I wonder whether these are classified as the mound stand or the tavern. I would probably say the tavern based on what it connects to. He smashed that. That has, without a doubt, saved 4 runs. Jimmy Neesham in the action early at backward point. Welcome back to Lords.
Yeah, I think that's what you call when you wear one. He's worn that, Neesham. He's just inspecting his hands.
A thumbs up as well there from Neesham, saying he's all good. Smile on his face. One of the most interesting characters in global cricket. Resourceful. A single out to the sweeper at deep square. Again, nicely played, but it's good fielding to start there for Essex. Buttleman, who was in the runs on Monday night, diving to his right, saving 4.
Nice smattering of applause as well, coming from the mound stand. Is what you call a knowledgeable crowd, perhaps. Magnanimous.
It's nice to be calling amongst the fans as well. I'm sure we'll get some feedback through the course of the evening. They don't like what we're up to. Smacked. 1 bounce, 2 bounce over the rope in front of the new Compton stand. The end of 2 overs. Middlesex 16 without loss. Tonight's live stream is brought to you by Duke's. Elevate your game with the most unique and healthy drink imaginable.
Well, there may have been some polite applause for the fielding stop earlier on, but in response to that boundary just now, the volume went up. Middlesex, good start then, 16 for no wicket.
So a couple of boundaries for Eskenazi to begin. Cracknell yet to really get going, but boy, when he does, he's one of the most exciting players in the competition so far this year. On strike to Jamie Porter, recalled this evening. He's a third man outside the circle. And Michael Pepper again patrolling the short rope at deep square.
Really great length there from Porter. It's one of those where you get the toe end of the bat. You can really feel it, can't you, when you've got the bat in hand. Ouch.
Over mid-wicket. Attacks the short boundary. 1 bounce over the rope. Cracknell's away.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get into some kind of fight or flight mode here, Adam, because, as you say, the pitch is really quite far over on the leg side, and you feel as though it's not too far away for them to have a crack over the square leg boundary. Nice looking shot, that one from Cracknell.
I think we need some hand warmers in the pocket, so if it does come our way, our instinct will be to go for the ball. Bit chilly here in North London tonight.
Yeah, I'm taking evasive action, don't know about you.
I'm backing you in. Cracknell again, can he beat short fine? He can't. Diving stop. Second time that Buttleman's been in the game there. Great batting from Eskenazi towards us, way over our heads. That is huge from Eskenazi to the short boundary. Might have gone out of the ground. Hard to tell from our vantage point. It might have ended up in the mosque it's gone so far. What a strike of the ball from Stevie Eskenazi.
Yeah, I think old Father Time there was more endangered than we were. I was ready for it, I really was. But lovely looking shot there. And he's been timing it nicely, Red Bull captain Eskenazi.
Going to take some finding. You can see the umpire Gould going out to get a new ball, so they've declared that one lost. That's gone out of the stadium, out of the ground, and Gunnar Gould getting his exercise, running out towards the pavilion, getting a new ball. Good luck finding that. So it's on the road currently. We'll see if we can get a shot of that and get a camera out to where the ball is at the moment. Good souvenir for somebody outside. After they sanitise it, of course. Sedate. Could be a chance at the non-strikers end. Bit of indecision.
Yeah, I think Eskenazi there was a little bit guilty of ball watching. He sort of strayed halfway down the crease, and Cracknell had committed by that point, and then Eskenazi had to scamper on, got there in the end.
What a feeling to hit a ball out of Lords for Eskenazi. I mean, Albert Trott energy there, of course, hit it over the pavilion famously, but that's 120 years ago. Good change up there from Porter to finish with a slower ball. End of 3, Middlesex 28 without loss. Daniel Lawrence, ball in hand. He's been useful with his off spin so far in the campaign. Picked up a couple of wickets against Surrey, including one wicket that went viral, a ball that turned square to pick up Jamie Overton. 2 out on the leg side to the long boundary. And that's the direction that Eskenazi is looking for 2. Will they go for it? They will. Good running. Took on Walter. Did it well.
That's what happens when you get a youngster at the other end of the crease. It's going to make you run for it. Joe Cracknell, just 21 years of age. Quite the impression so far.
A number of times now, good timing through the offside. Certainly enough wheels to get to the rope, to the short boundary, but not quite the placement. Sam Cook doing the fielding there. Backward point. Not far away. Eskenazi taking on, catching cover and getting a boundary for it. Struck so well.
Bit of air time there from Ajar. Flying to his left. He thought he was pretty close. It, as you say, struck hard, struck fast. Would have been a wonder catch.
It would have been a blinder. Eskenazi, 24 from 12 so far. That's through the gap. It'll take some chasing. And the ball gets there first. So Eskenazi now to 28. Got himself a flyer.
It's that delicate stroke again from Eskenazi. He's got this wonderful combination of power and touch. When he's on, he really is well placed.
Happy with the single there. Yes, they will be. So Cracknell gets his opportunity with 1 ball left in this over. Last year, Eskenazi batted beautifully off the top with Max Holden. They put on 97 for the first wicket, 51 of those from the opener. Single to complete the set, 40 without loss after 4. Couple left in the power play.
I remember watching that match because it ended up, didn't it, being abandoned in the end, or a washout in the end after that opening partnership. After a reasonably so-so red ball start to the campaign, you kind of felt, right, this is it. The white ball campaign's off to a flyer, and then of course there was no result.
Yeah, that was the opening game of the season. The one I'm referring to is the second game last year when they played here at Lords on a cold night. I think we called it Izzy up there at the pavilion end, sitting on top of the pavilion.
My memory's frozen over, I think you'll find.
Real thriller. Stephen Finn had his say at the end, won the game for the home side. First ball, the new Cook over, slashed out to deep point, only 1 there though. So Cracknell yet to really put the foot down. Some of those strikes through the onside at Radlett, not sure if you caught the highlights, but gee, they were highlights. He was flying. His wrists are made of rubber. I mean, the obvious comparisons, the one to Glenn Maxwell, the way that he's able to manoeuvre balls from well outside the off stump, all through the leg side. Eskenazi here. Well placed, should be 2. We'll get back for that second. So 43 for none.
This is really good from these two in the middle, especially against the likes of Cook. As we said earlier, he's had such a stellar start to his T20 campaign. The tournament's joint leading wicket taker. They can combat him and stay there.
Change up. Quick single. Through. Would have needed to have been a direct hit from Neesham, but I fancy safe.
Yeah, it's one of those we saw from Cracknell. It was head down and power through. Don't look up. He did exactly that.
Might be Jimmy Neesham's first game back at Lord's since the World Cup final a couple of years ago. In fact, it almost certainly is.
You can remind him of that one then.
He might be the last cricketer to put a ball out of the ground at this side of the field. In the Super Over, I think he put one onto the road, over the top of the mound stand, or near enough. Everything he could on that fateful afternoon. Nearly 2 years ago, would you believe? Seen at the Middlesex bench, Nick Gubbins will be the next man in. First game of the season for him. Bouncer, well handled by Eskenazi. Nijar the work to do. Collects it cleanly.
That's such a good shot, that one, because it's coming fast, it's coming hard at you, it's high above your head, and he tennis back, swats it down below. The timing and the speed that you need to play that shot. It's a man in form, Eskenazi.
And there's no margin for error with the short ball either. If you're above head height, it can be called a no ball, as we saw here last year in a close finish. Slower ball again, not picked up by Cracknell. Finds Walter. Good over that for the visitors. The penultimate over of the power play, just 6 from it, 46 without loss. Eskenazi has 33 of those, Cracknell 13.
Just see a little bit of frustration seeping in there to Cracknell, but to be fair to him, he hasn't really had much of the strike. Eskenazi facing the majority of deliveries so far. Quite often you've got Cracknell getting the last 1 or 2 balls of an over. Just to be patient. It's a good partnership, forming a good platform here for the home side.
Yeah, and they need this. As I mentioned, Friday night they couldn't get anywhere near 150. Their target was 151 at Cardiff. Well, 129 for 9 when that innings was complete. So a good start here, build some confidence, and away they'll go. Jamie Porter to start his second over. The first of his went for 12. Now from the nursery end. Again, Eskenazi can't quite time it. Picks out Walter at mid-on, inside the circle. So last over of the power play, the leg side rope is protected. Deep mid-wicket, deep backward square in front of the grandstand.
An opportunity then for Cracknell. 5 more balls left in this over. Just get into his rhythm.
5 inside the ring on the offside. Goes the leg side though, on the bounce. Again, no real timing to speak of. It's a little off cutter there from Porter.
That's all right when you've got Eskenazi hitting it so well. Sometimes just rotating the strike, getting him back on is the best thing to do.
Straight to Neesham, who's all over it at backward point.
You can see what he's trying to do there. A little trigger, giving himself a lot of room on the leg side, trying to free himself up to target that shorter offside boundary. Not this time.
Got to be good to beat Jimmy Neesham. We saw that stunning catch he took in the World Cup semi back in 2019 at Old Trafford. Leg side again, bisecting the fielders. Good shot, Eskenazi. He moves to 38.
If you drew a line between deep backward square and the mid-wicket fielder, that would splice them exactly in the middle. Really well placed there from Eskenazi. He's enjoying himself out there.
So that's his 5th boundary to go. The massive 6 that went over our head and out of the ground. 50 partnership up in just 34 balls. 2 left in the power play. Again through the leg side, upish towards deep backward square, just over the top. Gets himself 4. That might have been a drop catch as well.
Yeah, that was definitely one there. Lawrence, I think, in the deep. Not sure if he lost it in the floodlights, but really he should have done better there. A chance for the visitors to put that one down.
And it is the long boundary, but he was a fair way in from the rope. Both sweepers are at least 5 to 10 metres in. Last ball, power play. Swing and a miss. So 56 taken from the first 6 overs. Eskenazi has 42 of those from 21 balls, going at a strike rate of exactly 200. Cracknell 14 from 14. We get a bit of a COVID pit stop with it being the 6th over of the game. Peter Hanscom doing the work there with the bib, the 4-day captain, the Australian international. Out come the drinks and the sanitizer. So a fine start for the home team after being sent in, Izzy.
It's exactly what they're looking for. Sam Cook so far wicketless. 2 in-form batters in his competition. Looking to set that platform and get a second win. Get this tournament really start flying. Middlesex aren't out of it yet. There's a lot of work to do.
Cricket ground DJ having fun up there. I think the only job better than ours at the cricket is the cricket ground DJ. When I grow up, Izzy, that's what I want to do for a living.
Oh, I worry about you, Adam.
Nijjar bowled the first over, he'll bowl the 7th. Field spread, of course. Tenduscarter in front of us at deep square. Cracknell has only found the boundary once in the power play. Picks out deep point. Just one there. So the accumulation phase begins. Well placed. Should be 2. 2 it is.
Oh, a nice delicate stroke there from Eskenazi. Moves to 44.
Single inside the ring.
One had enough top spin to rival Serena Williams at Wimbledon, I reckon.
Yeah, not bad. I'll pay it is. Again, good shot. Cracknell finding a couple to the sweeper.
I reckon he's got a good second service on him.
Someone's been watching Eastbourne today.
Just warming up.
Full. A bit quicker as well. So Cracknell takes a single on off at a deep cover. Conservative batting from the 7th over. 64 for none, Middlesex. We always say it, don't we? The over in T20 cricket that statistically is the least productive is the 7th over.
Is that now proven? Is that an official stat?
It's a thing.
Right.
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't a thing. The numbers bear it out that for whatever reason after the power play, set players will just drag it back a gear and try and find the sweepers and ease into the next period of play.
It's almost just a readjustment, isn't it, to different field settings. Having gone all out in the power play, perhaps. An interesting psychological study into that. Why? Why the 7th over?
Could be a decent psychological study into why cricket full stop, I suppose. Weird old game. Simon Harmer, the captain, into the attack for the first time. Could be 2. Well placed. Dropped into the onside. Does Cracknell want it? He does, but Eskenazi sends him back. Just wonderful hearing the sound of fans here at Lord's. Of course, we had it for the Surrey game, but we weren't on the stream for that. It was a Sky game. The other fixtures we've had at Lord's this year through the county championship, it's been quite lonely, but not tonight. Harmer to Cracknell. Pulling. Can he beat short fine? He can. That's 4 out towards the Warner stand. He moves into the 20s.
Yeah, too short. Dragged it short. 2 straight. And well struck there by Cracknell. Making the most of it. Not often that Harmer does that. Dragging it down. when he does. Cracknell very quick to it. That'll give him some confidence.
Yeah, just not been finding the middle of the bat as yet, Cracknell. There's 2 boundaries in his innings to date. Whereas this time last week at Radlett, he couldn't stop pinging boundaries. It was extraordinary to watch him play, digging Middlesex out of a massive hole in pursuit of a target nearing 220. A partnership with John Simpson was exhilarating. It's a quick hold up as the ball slowly makes its way back from, it must have ended up in the crowd on the deflection. It needed to be sanitised, and back it gets to Simon Harmer. Led this side to victory in the whole competition 2 seasons ago. Again, Cracknell towards short fine, but can't beat the fielder on this occasion.
A little fuller that one, harder to sweep. But again, rotating the strike, getting Eskenazi back on. 47 from 26 he is.
So 3 out on the leg side. One of those in action here, long on. They might want 2. It's well dropped. Good batting. Really good running. Even had it been a direct hit, Cracknell was home. Eskenazi moves to 49.
Would have been close. Would have been close if that had been a direct hit. Full of intent, running between those wickets. He felt it was on.
Done it twice in this over. It'll frustrate Harmer. Can't beat the bowler in his follow through here. Harmer, such a massive presence for Essex over the last 6 years. Eskenazi, another quick single, moves to 50. For the 10th time in T20 cricket, he gets a chance to raise the bat. Arrives at the milestone in just 29 deliveries, 6 fours and 1 massive 6. He's laying the foundation.
Yeah, he's looked good out there. The senior of the 2 batters. A mixture of nicely timed, elegant strokes, and then a few big clobbers as well. One that went directly over us at square leg, just picked it up beautifully, pummeled it into the road. He's enjoying himself out there.
So Nijar to continue from the pavilion end. Eskenazi picks out one of the 2 sweepers on the offside, a deep point to the long boundary. So deep point, long off, long on. Jimmy Neesham beneath us at deep mid-wicket. And just further around to our right, deep backward square, Ryan Tenduscarter, mentioned off the top, turns 41 next week. Still going strong. Reverse sweep, beaten. Kindly threw the bail up to Adam Wheater.
Yeah, good take behind the stump, standing up. Slightly faster delivery.
So Cracknell, will he take on the spin? He does here, that's a shot. Inside out over cover. It's got a long way to go. And it reaches the rope, up the hill. Cracknell's 27. Might be the first one we've seen him really time.
Yeah, you floated that one out a little bit wider there, but it was full, and Cracknell had to reach for it, which he did successfully.
Through the offside again, that's an even better shot. Might get cut off by the sweeper. Has a long way to travel up the hill, it is. They can come back for a third, they nearly do. Cracknell sent back by the senior of the 2 men. 80 for none. The gap on the leg side's right towards where we are, deep mid-wicket. Will Cracknell take it on? He does. No contact. Leg before wicket. No hesitation there from umpire Gould. Nijar gets in the book, and Cracknell, who blew a little bit hot and cold tonight, he's gone for 29. Middlesex, 80 for 1.
It'll be LBW in the scorecard, but I'm pretty sure that was box before wicket. That'll hurt in more ways than one.
Yes, watching it back, went across his stumps, tried to pick out that gap, which is right where we are at deep mid-wicket, underneath Father Time. Nijar saw him coming, slipped it through a fraction quicker. Out of position to play the stroke. New batsman to the middle, it's the import. Daryl Mitchell playing his first game for the club, wearing number 47. Walking out to Darude Sandstorm, some kind of entrance music. You've got to back it up if you walk out to Sandstorm. Daryl Mitchell has tended to do so when playing for both club and country in New Zealand. He's had a fantastic couple of years, principally as a batsman, but bowls very useful medium pace as well, as we saw at Edgbaston a couple of weeks ago in the test match he was playing for New Zealand. Has a strike rate of 130 in T20. Over 2,000 runs. Highest score of 88 not out. Batting number 3 on Middlesex debut. Last ball from Nijar, successful over. And Mitchell happy just to ease him down the ground, retain the strike, get off the mark, 81 for 1.
Lovely little shuffle towards the pitch of the ball there, and just waiting to see whether it got past the fielder, which it did. Off the mark straight away. 9 overs gone then. Middlesex. It's been a good start underneath the floodlights here at Lord's.
So Mitchell's played 15 T20 internationals, debuting back in February 2019. Has a strike rate of 137 when playing for his country, so just an extra notch up from domestic level. Born in Hamilton, plays for Northern Districts.
Yeah, he's a man with many strings to his bow. Ball in hand, bat in hand, all-round athlete. Very useful overseas player to have for Middlesex.
Harmer to bowl his second over. And Mitchell gets his second single around the corner. He has a fantastic list day record as well, so loves playing against the white ball. Test century to round it out. Played 5 times for the Black Caps, who were so magnificent in victory down at Southampton yesterday.
There's so much sport on, it's all been a bit of a blur the last few days.
Yeah, we were darting across the country, weren't we, from Edgbaston to Bristol via Radlett. We had the women's test last week, which was fantastic. We're back to Bristol after this game, and then Taunton, then Worcestershire, then I think I get to Lord's in between the second and third women's one-day internationals for a game against Sussex here next week in the Blast. So jam-packed schedule. Wouldn't have it any other way through June and July.
Trying to think back to last night, we were watching the end of the World Test Championship final, culminating on the 6th day. The football was on, Middlesex women were playing against Surrey in the London Cup.
Lunge there, Mitchell, well bowled by Harmer, who collects Eskenazi in his follow-through. And I tell you what, Eskenazi's hit the deck, but 2 well-built men. I think that Harmer, a fraction more timber on him. He came out better of the 2 there. Straight into his back. Could be 2 here. Mitchell wants it, Eskenazi does not.
Yeah, that's probably the right call for that one.
You mentioned last night all the sport. Middlesex's women won the London Cup again. I know you led Middlesex to victory in a couple of those when the initiative started back in 2015.
I think you'll find that Surrey have only ever won one of them.
And that was last year.
It was
at
indeed.
the Oval. Last ball of the over. Eskenazi goes to 53, goes to 54 as well. Harmer had to do the fielding himself with no conventional mid-wicket, only a man out deep. So Eskenazi's 54. At the halfway mark, Middlesex at 86 for 1. I'll hand the commentary microphone to my colleague in the summariser chair, becomes the commentary chair, Izzy Westwood.
Musical chairs here at Lord's. Healthy crowd here within the social distancing parameters. And they're watching a good base set by Middlesex. 86 for 1, Eskenazi.
I'm not sure if he caught that between overs, but some fancy footwork from umpire Gould. Known as Gunner for a reason with his Arsenal roots, but the ball came spilling towards him and he just caught it with his two heels and flung it up back towards Paul Walter, who's going to bowl the next over. That was very tight.
Still got it. Right then. Walter.
Giant.
That was unorthodox in every sense. Walter deciding to come around the wicket. Not quite timed by Mitchell. Gets the run though. Full count.
Only been called upon in 2 of the 6 games that Essex have completed so far this season. Picking up 4 wickets. Or a batting all-rounder these days, I suppose.
Nicely angled into the right-handed batter. Well fielded at backward point. I think I'm quite surprised that Walter's coming on before Neesham.
Yeah, Neesham bowls wonderfully at the death, as we know, for New Zealand. Might be backloading his overs. Change in field, deep third goes out, mid-off inside the circle for Mitchell.
Hit him on the torso there, Mitchell. You just see that white ball as leg by is called. It really does angle in quite late to the right-handed batter and he couldn't get to it on time. Trying to pull it off his back foot. It's replaying the shot at the non-striker's end now.
Yeah, good change up.
Got hold of that one. One bounce for it. Meets the fielder down at mid-wicket. Come through for the single.
I watched that ball on the screen. I wasn't watching it live in front of us. And the minute I saw contact made, I looked up thinking the catch could be on. He's nailed it, but not to be.
It's a dangerous pursuit, going from screen to real live action. Calling it from square leg as we are.
He's struggling, Mitchell, with the exception of his first ball, which he timed down the long on. I think he's really battled to get the middle of his bat to greet the ball. 5 from 8.
Yeah, I wonder whether this was the tactic from an Essex perspective. Just change it up. Walter, a very incongruous shuffle. And again, call for LBW, stayed low. Umpire, shake of the head in the end of the 11th over, 91 for 1.
There's some good variety there from Walter. Last ball, or the off-cut of variety of slower ball. Pitched on about middle and leg stump, would have needed to have straightened instead of going down the slope. Just took enough pace off the ball to make sure that the Eskenazi swing would be in vain. So a couple of leg byes through that over.
Dan Lawrence is going to continue or resume things from the nursery end. Another one with an unorthodox action. Reverse sweep in the air. The backspin on that as well, landed just short of the fielder, come through for a single.
He's very effective, Dan Lawrence. Of course, picked up a test wicket at Edgbaston a couple of weeks ago, just before the close of play. A traditional finger spinner's wicket, caught a short leg. A different kind of challenge here. 3 out on the leg side, deep cover, long off on the offside.
Down the wicket, pummeled that through. Fielders made it. Got hold of that one.
Yeah, a fair bit of work to do there, Walter. Great fielding. And a wonderful sound off the bat.
very full. Well taken.
There's sometimes a debate as to whether Ravichandran Ashwin is a finger spinner or effectively a wrist spinner, given the way that all the work he puts on the ball. Kind of Murali had the same thing about him. I wonder whether sort of Lawrence falls into that tradition. He doesn't look like an off spinner the way he approaches the crease. It's a lot of the wrist involved more than finger in terms of when he lets it go.
Delicate touch there from Eskenazi. Seen a few of those tonight. Tell you what, comparison with Ashwin, I think he'll be happy with that, Dan Lawrence. Ashwin bowled superbly. In fact, in the final day of the World Test Championship final, almost brought it back in India's favour. 2 quick wickets when it was nice and sunny on that 6th day. Made for Conway. Flick of the wrist then from Mitchell. Going to look for 2. They're going to come back. Throw comes in to the keeper's end, and Mitchell quick between the wickets. 97 for 1.
Yeah, good alert cricket there.
Good foot movement again from Mitchell. Regularly coming down the track, but they've kept it just the single to end the over. 12 overs gone. Middlesex 98 for 1. Eskenazi on 58, and Mitchell will retain the strike. He's 9 not out.
It really is a work of art, that bowling action. Can't look away. But I think certainly something to work with there, and not just in white ball cricket. I think Dan Lawrence might become quite a useful part-time spinner at Test level as well. I mean, he's still some way from really establishing himself as a long-term Test prospect, I suppose, but
always helps.
So much work on the ball. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Bijar well bowled. Mitchell 9 from 12. Hasn't quite found the fluency that we've seen from Eskenazi. Full toss. Slip in the outfield. I hope he's all right there, actually. So it was Pepper. Just as he was throwing, he just slipped onto his left leg. It seems okay as Middlesex bring the 100 up. Nice shot, but we've seen a few of those where they've connected. With the field now spread since that power play, the end of the power play in the 6th over. Middlesex just finding it hard to get away. Eskenazi then 58 from 38. What can he do here? Really had to wait for that one. Misfield. It's not expensive.
Just in a little bit of a rut here, Middlesex. It's been a while between boundaries, but it's more the contact that's being made isn't solid. They're not dictating terms, Essex are.
It's going to come over the wicket then, Bijar.
I don't mind that. Mitchell's yet to really hit one off the square, with the exception of a couple of singles down the ground. Make him think about it.
Wide ball, too far outside off. See what he's doing. Going to change the angles, make Mitchell reach for it. Full toss. But again, hasn't got his full money's worth there, Mitchell. Oh, that's a good shot. inside out. Over the fielder at extra cover. Will it beat him? No, that's a good piece of fielding. Neesham, I think it was. Diving to his left. Good cricket all round. 107 for 1.
Good positive cricket there to finish. Neesham's been busy, hasn't he? Interesting that we get to see him bowl. I mean, I would have thought by now we would have seen at least one over from him.
Yeah, it feels a bit odd. I mean, he's warmed up if that's what they're waiting for.
I mean, I assume he'll bowl, right? I mean, I can't imagine, if fit, that he wouldn't be called upon to bowl some important overs.
Down the track. Again, just picking out the fielder. It really has been a little while since those boundaries. Nicely placed. Last boundary, halfway through the 9th over. And now into the 14th.
They've really pulled up here. Some good bowling.
Wow, that might be changed this time. One bounce. Lovely top arm there from Mitchell. Straight as you like, back over the bowler's head. I think he was listening.
You timed that stat well, had you waited one more ball, it wouldn't have worked. So you sensed the change in energy. Nicely picked up down the ground by Mitchell.
Yeah, good use of the feet again. Moves to 20. Middlesex 115 for 1. Oh, up and over. Sees the fielder there at extra cover inside the ring. And after we've waited a fair old time for boundaries, got 2 in quick succession.
That's very hard to do. You've got Harmer turning it back towards the pads, going leg side and having enough time to lift it inside out over cover. Very good cricket.
He turned into the leg side. They'll come back for 2. Throw's going to come into the keeper. Safely done. Eskenazi then. It's the 14th over. He's on 69. Middlesex 121 for 1. I can imagine 6 overs left. I want a few fireworks here. Camera's panning to Neesham because, well, they're wondering, like we are, why he hasn't bowled yet.
Yeah, it's odd. The fact that Walter is bowling, having only sent down overs in 2 games out of the 6 so far this season.
So he didn't bowl against Surrey. Didn't bat against Surrey. Had a TFC against Surrey.
Very nice. Still have to pay your match fees.
Walter continuing. Essex, in a way, they have a luxury of riches as far as the seam bowling department is concerned. Jamie Porter's back in the mix with a white ball. Sam Cook has had such a good season to start with. Walter now proving difficult to get away. Short ball, well weighted.
I mean, it's working, isn't it? He's bowled 8 deliveries and conceded 6 runs from the pavilion end. So creating the angle from around the wicket, and the extra incentive there, of course, down the slope. It's working really well, whilst at the same time running his fingers down the seam to slow the delivery up, changing his lengths.
Maybe he's just unwanted, Jimmy Neesham. Oh, slow ball, well weighted, helped along his way. Mitchell gets his first 6 of the evening. And there's a catch in the crowd as it ricochets back off the balcony and down into the tier beneath us, down in the mound stand. They're having a bit of fun with that.
Yeah, that was a top decker. And it ricocheted back towards the fans sitting in the bottom section of the mound stand. One of them picked it up, which means, of course, they'll have to sanitise the ball, but it was worth it. They enjoyed themselves there.
It's one of those games where you play a sort of makeshift game of cricket and it comes off the wall, and do you have a rule for that? Is it one hand? There's a row of women on a Thursday night out at Lord's having a bit of fun. Here comes Walter again. And that's well struck. Finds the fielder on the second bounce. Middlesex 130 for 1.
And that was, the 6 came from the first ball where Walter changed direction as well. And that just gave it pause for thought, opening up the leg side and short boundary. Bosh.
Oh, it's in the air. Chance there, no. It's flown above extra cover. He said they might speed up. And that's exactly what Middlesex are doing. 4 more to Eskenazi.
Yeah, it was clever batting, isn't it? We talked about going over the wicket and opening up the leg side and having the premeditation component of that. Well, it forced Walter to go back around the wicket, and that gave Eskenazi a fairly good handle on where it was going to come on that angle. He's faced plenty of deliveries from him now and picked the gap. No one out on the deep extra cover rope. 4 runs.
Elegant again. Very narrow gap there between backward point and gully. But Eskenazi's found it. He's in form. He moves to 78, 138 for 1.
Yeah, it started so well for Walter. First 2 balls of that over. He'd only conceded 6 singles across 8 deliveries, but 6-4-4. That might be the last that we see of him. The bowling crease for the evening. He's spoilt for choice, Harmer, in terms of the bowling options. We're yet to see Neesham. We're going to see Jimmy Neesham. We've been calling for it from the commentary position, and from the nursery end, Jimmy Neesham will be the 7th bowler used this evening. Yeah, all the way through he's got options. Nijar's bowled his 4, but beyond that, Cook and Porter and Lawrence and Walter and Harmer himself all have overs in the bank with 5 to come. Neesham's ringing the changes. Some protection on the offside, deep extra cover and a long off. So no deep point, a big gap indeed at deep point. That's there for Mitchell. Leg side, long on, deep mid wicket, deep backward square.
Neesham then immediately has the wicket. First ball, no he doesn't. The umpire's finger stays down. Essex were convinced that they'd found Mitchell's edge. They were celebrating already, but a shake of the head from the umpire. You can see the increase in pace there from Neesham. Back of a length ball.
He was convinced he had his New Zealand teammate there, wasn't he? And that wasn't so much the celebrity appeal. It was a fairly modest celebration. He just thought it was taken as assumed that Mitchell had edged it, but umpire Paul Baldwin had other ideas, and Neesham goes back to the top of his mark.
More watchfully played this time from Mitchell, adjusting to that pace. Giving himself room, and a beautiful shot there from Eskenazi. He saw the 2 fielders there in the off-side creeping into the ring. Gave himself room, used the speed of Neesham's delivery. And that's a lovely looking boundary there for Middlesex.
Yeah, Eskenazi's highest score is 84. That's well within his range here now on 82. Gee, he's batted well tonight, hasn't he? no reason why he can't advance the three figures, really. Barely played a false stroke, 82 from 47 balls so far.
Nice flick of the wrists. Moves to 83, 144 for one. Neesham, is he going to get his man? It's a lovely catch in the deep. Pepper there, tumbling to his right. And Mitchell, having watched Eskenazi stroke it to all ends, try to do the same. He's fallen short. Jimmy Neesham with Essex's second and his first of the evening.
It just moved off to straight away from the right-hander, so Mitchell was committed to the stroke. He saw it was full. He strikes the ball best down the ground, was trying to take on long on, but Pepper was there, had protection, tried to go over the top. Didn't quite get all of it. Still a very good take, moving to his right. And a fairly stop-start innings from Mitchell comes to an end.
Yeah, a bit of a change up in the batting lineup. John Simpson, the wicketkeeper, very dynamic batter, coming in before Nick Gubbins. And probably at this stage of the match, that feels about right.
Yeah, Gubbins, who's been playing in the twos, helped them get to finals day. It's been played out today at Arundel. Middlesex didn't quite get the chocolates there, but Gubbins gets his opportunity here for the first time in the Blast for season 2021.
Final ball of the over. Settled for a single. 144 for two.
So Eskenazi pulls level with his highest score in T20 cricket. He's had some wonderful nights in front of the crowd here at Lord's. A bit of a stop-start season in many respects. Starting the year as the captain of the championship side in Peter Hanscom's absence. Then when Hanscom arrived, Eskenazi was omitted from the team altogether. Got back in for the last couple of rounds. He did well too. It was a big call leaving him out for that third round clash here at Lord's when he did get a couple of starts in the first game here against Somerset, but excels at T20 level.
And there he goes. Eskenazi moves to 85. His highest score in white ball cricket. He's looked good. 85 from 50 deliveries.
Some nice applause over to our left. Knowledgeable crowd. I think they knew that his high score before tonight was 84. His high score this season was 36 on opening night here against Surrey. He's been brilliant. Still work to do though. 23 deliveries left in the innings.
Wide ball called, adjusting to the left-hander.
I said in the previous over, Nick Gubbins coming out to the middle, of course. It's John Simpson who's been elevated up to number 4, understandably so, given we're at the tail end of the innings. He was magnificent at Radlett last week against Hampshire, reeling off a rapid half-century, clearing the ropes a couple of times.
Nice use of the pace there. Simpson off the mark. 148 for two.
The way that Simpson batted with Joe Cracknell, Middlesex were deep in a hole. Cracknell making 77, and Simpson 62. Laid the foundation for a massive chase and a fine victory.
Miss hit, going to fall short. Kirk still searching for his first wicket. Eskenazi. He survives. 149 for 2.
First of those he's really miscued it. It feels as though he's got on top of the bouncer really well tonight, Eskenazi, and been able to place it almost with the tennis serve out to deep backward square on a number of occasions.
Bouncer. Dot ball. Felt as though Simpson was just waiting for the signal from the umpire there. It didn't come.
Yeah, a little bit hard for us to tell side on as we are tonight, but it felt like it might have been a bit leg side. That's what Simpson was looking for.
Fuller dug out, misfield. Pressure on the fielder. And that means it's Middlesex's 150 up. 150 for 2. 101 balls faced.
We're on.
That's flown our way. Not quite the catch. Close enough. 6 runs then, 156 for 2.
A bit more elevation and a fraction straighter, and we were in the game there.
You needed to lean over the balcony really, and then
Yes.
I'd have held you by your feet, promise.
Have you had one of those on commentary before? Ball through the window?
Yeah, I've seen someone's laptop get broken as well. I think I'm the fight or flight response. I think when I'm on commentary, I'm more of the flight reaction. Trying to juggle 2 things at the same time, not for me.
It's one of my great regrets. I had one come through actually at Chelmsford, watching Essex play the Australians in 2015 on radio. Nathan Lyon was bowling, and the Essex number 11, can't remember his name now, but the ball came through the window, and instead of moving to my right, I stood still and called the ball, and it took out my co-commentator, who was floored.
Harmer to continue. Flighted delivery, and catch has dropped. It's been put down at extra cover. It's hard in and hard out. A life then for Simpson.
It's been good Nijar in the field as well, but that might have got there a fraction slower than he thought. Seemed to snatch at it.
Drilled back down the ground. Just the single then. Brings Eskenazi back on strike. He's 92 from 52 deliveries.
Great crowd in tonight. Fans in the top deck of the Compton and Edrich stands as well for the first time here at a Blast game, which is exciting. They weren't up there for the test match a couple of weeks ago.
Over the wicket then to Eskenazi, who's down the track, thinking of the single. Good fielding.
Great bit of fielding. So that must mean the roofs are complete on both sides of the new grandstands. They weren't quite there for the test match, but a new and beautiful vantage point here at Lord's.
Wide ball and a run. All helps. Not to Eskenazi's name though.
Simpson's so strong down the ground. Loves making room to go over long on. It's one of those, a deep mid wicket, deep backward square, long off, deep cover.
Slower delivery. Nicely weighted by Simpson. Carving it into the offside.
Must be such a difficult thing to do as a finger spinner late in a T20, taking more pace off the ball, giving the batsman more of an opportunity to swing, but Harmer backing his stock delivery there. Good cricket.
Quicker delivery there from Harmer. Wheater scampering out from behind the stumps. just trying to unsettle Eskenazi.
Yeah, we're seeing a pause here. Umpire Gould's seen something. Try and get the binoculars on that. There's been something that he's seen and he doesn't like. Going straight up to his colleague, Umpire Baldwin.
Simpson's come out to have a chat as well. Quite sure what's happening.
Umpire Gould, he was on the elite panel for a long time at ICC level. Says what he means and means what he says. If he sees, if he spots something, he's going to make it known to all.
Nicely swept by Eskenazi. He should get 4 for that. He does. Spliced the fielders. He moves to 96. 18 overs gone, 164 for 2.
Eskenazi has single-handedly got them out of this hole, hasn't he? He was explosive at the start, and he's found the boundary 4 times in the last couple of overs, but that might be the best shot of the lot. The long boundary up the hill towards the grandstand, 2 sweepers, had to be precise. Got all of it on the sweep shot. Great technique within a boundary of a century. Umpire Ian Gould still not thrilled. Now having a chat to Stevie Eskenazi. Whatever he's picked up, so we find out between innings what it was exactly.
Felt as though it was Simpson at the non-strikers end. There was something abreast there. No matter. Porter into his 3rd over. Swing and a miss then from the left-hander. Nice bit of pace from the Essex seamer. 22 so far from his 2 overs.
Middlesex Brains Trust on the balcony there. Dimitri Mascarenas I can spot sitting there on the benches, the Middlesex bowling coach. He's been around the world, Dimmy. He's coached with everybody. He with the 100 as well.
Nice crack of the bat there from Simpson. Only get 1 for it. But it brings Eskenazi on strike. He's got 600s in the first-class game. 1 in the list A stuff. 9 half-centuries in T20 cricket. Could he get a century this evening and have 1 in each format? Rather neat. Slow ball, weighted. Swept out to the fielder at the square leg boundary. Just the single, 166 for 2.
Oh, the temptation on 96. The off-pace delivery, the short boundary. The thought must have gone through his mind, gee, I'll pop that onto the road as well. On the balcony again there.
There's
Dimitri
more
Mascarenas,
restraint.
who used to be, of course, the bowling coach at Essex, the bowling coach at New Zealand.
Oh, that's picked up rather nicely. Fielder down there at the mid-wicket boundary. He waited a while. He thought he was in for a chance. But Simpson floats it temptingly above his head. He gets 6 for it.
That's gone a long, long way. I mean, Dan Lawrence is positioned right on the rope there at Cow Corner. But just enough elevation, just enough oomph in the shot. Simpson into double figures. Good batting.
Full shot this time, on the ground. Looking for 2. Just the single.
What do you do here? Eskenazi on 97. If you're Porter, 1 ball left in the over. Short.
Slow one.
Short
quite
or
nicely.
slow? Yeah, slow. Well, there's a gap at deep mid-wicket. Right where we are.
Final ball then. He's picked that up well. So is the fielder. 1 bounce into backward points and Eskenazi wanted to come back for another one, but he retains the strike. Going into the final over, Middlesex 174 for 2. Eskenazi there, 98 not out. Final over then, here we go. Full toss, swept round the corner. I think he hit it too well there, Eskenazi. He moves tantalisingly close, 99. Middlesex 175 for 2.
So Simpson will be looking to clear the rope. He won't be looking for one. He shouldn't be looking for one. The best case scenario for Middlesex is actually that Simpson faces the rest of the over. And you can kind of see that with Eskenazi throwing his head back, realising that in the 20th over of a T20 innings, if a batsman gets on fire, that could be that. How will they set up here? So long boundary on the offside, deep point. And long off in front of the Compton, long on in front of the Edrich. Aaron Nijar just being spooled around a fraction squarer, cow corner, and a deep backward square, Ryan Penderskata.
Full toss. Nicely struck by Simpson. Oh, misfield. Fielder sliding round at mid-wicket. Nijar there. Couldn't get underneath it. That's a welcome 4-run to Middlesex.
Yeah, Nijar started well in the field. He was tidy early on in the first 10 overs when the pressure was on, certainly inside the power play, but a drop catch, and now one going through him at deep mid-wicket.
Simpson drills it back down the ground. Just the one then, you can hear the cheer from the crowd. Eskenazi on 99, back on strike.
And in fairness to Eskenazi, he was the keener of the two to find the second run, showing what a team man he is, but yes, does get an opportunity to bring up a century here in the final over.
Cook then. Bouncer, top edge, is flung high into the air and it's landed safe. And you can see the Middlesex crowd enjoying this. Eskenazi, helmet off. I think he's got some friends in the crowd beside us. He gets his first century in T20 cricket. He's now got 100 across the 3 formats. A crowd favourite, you might say. Stevie Eskenazi with his maiden century from Middlesex in T20 colours. Slower ball gone through him.
Yeah, 11 fours, 2 sixes, and boy, how long did that top edge hang in the air for? You can see Eskenazi running to the non-striker's end, looking over his left shoulder to make sure it landed and pitched, and got back for the second in the end, but it meant a tremendous amount to him. As we mentioned before, left out of the 4-day side earlier in the year, that must have hurt. Got his way back in through weight of runs in the twos, but at T20 level, in the Blasters, where he can really light up Lords, he's done so this evening.
Full toss, struck well. Direct hit would have got him. But as it is, he ends up on a single. 102 not out there from Stevie Eskenazi. Middlesex finishing 183 for 2.
And look, it was an explosive power play. They laid the groundwork early. Eskenazi batting through the innings. A really fine performance of the highest quality. Faced 61 deliveries, a strike rate of 167, 11 fours and 2 sixes. The first of those was gigantic over our heads. onto the road behind us here on the Tavern Stand side of the ground. But 182, look, it's more than competitive. 183, sorry, they finish on. There's an inconsistency between the scorecard and the scoreboard. 183 for 2 after the 20 overs for Essex. The wicket takers, only 2 of them. Nijar, 1 for 32, and Jimmy Neesham, 1 for 7 from the 1 over that he did send down. I suppose you could say, Izzy, that Jimmy Neesham was effective and efficient, only bowled 1 over. A bit of a misstep there from Simon Harmer.
Yeah, they really went through their bowlers, didn't they? 7 bowlers in total. Jimmy Neesham, we know what he's like. New Zealand, international calibre, only bowling 1 over. Sam Cook has been prolific with the ball for Essex as well. Couldn't make the breakthrough. He went for 35 runs, in fact, from his 4. Simon Harmer, the captain, expensive as well. And that's been a good half from Middlesex, and they'll be confident going into the innings break.
So the opening stand of 80 between Joe Cracknell and Eskenazi Cracknell. The first to go for 29, leg before wicket, sweeping bowling of Nijar, the left-arm spinner. Daryl Mitchell, 29 from 24, did battle a little bit, just 1-4 and 1-6 in his stay. He was caught by Pepper from the bowling of Neesham for 29. Simpson not out, 17 from 12 deliveries, correction. 1-4 and 1-6. And the man of the moment, the man of the hour, Stevie Eskenazi, an unbeaten 102 from 61 balls, out there for the entire 75 minutes, 11 fours and 2 sixes. Now is the time to quench your thirst, so grab yourself a Duke's, the most invigorating summer drink of all. We'll take a pause here at Lord's with Essex chasing 184 for victory in the second innings.
Woodstock Cricket, home of the finest handmade cricket bats and soft goods. Visit either our showroom or workshop and experience the magic for yourselves. For bookings, contact info@woodstockcricket.co.uk.
And here come Middlesex, defending 183. If they can do that, they'll register their second win of the season and they'll get off the bottom of the table in the South Group. Led by the skipper, Stephen Finn, for the first time this season. Also got Tom Helm at their disposal for the first time in season 2021. He'll open the bowling from the pavilion end. Essex on the way, the pairing doing well for them so far this season. Will Buttleman and Adam Wheater. Really talented young player, Buttleman. Made his highest score of his career so far against Surrey on Monday night. An unbeaten 56 in that comprehensive 8-wicket victory.
Yeah, they're
fairly consistent through the season so far.
Both Kirk and Butterman in that thumping victory over Surrey picked up career best T20 figures. Says men in form. Butterman's one of them. Michael Pepper as well, another youngster batting well for Essex.
And great news for Middlesex. Tom Helm, who led this attack last year, back for his first game after missing a few via COVID-19. Here he is, pavilion end. Nice bit of shape to start, away from the right-handed Buttleman, played into the offside. Nathan Souter also back into the side this evening. He injured his ankle out at Radlett last week, but bowled well in the twos, got them to finals day. He'll be in operation soon enough, I'm sure. So a radically different bowling attack from the one that turned out at Cardiff on Friday. Slip in position. That's big. Over towards the deep square leg boundary and just clears it. Didn't get all of it. Umpire Goulds just making sure it went the full journey, but we are perfectly in line with that, Izzy, and I can say categorically that made it over the rope, just there in front of the mound stand.
A few mischievous punters in the crowd trying to signal to the umpire that it had gone for four.
Yeah, as is their prerogative. If you're in the crowd and you're one of the Middlesex fans, of course you should say it went for four, but no, that was 6 runs for Buttleman. The second ball, the reply. Follows it with an easy single. That's been the case of Buttleman via the academy. Hasn't really played in the first team until this year. Really talented wicketkeeper as well. They rate him in that role. He'll develop alongside Wheater, who's the senior gloveman at the moment, his opening partner. Wheater had a solid campaign so far as well. Fine leg inside the circle, and that's where it's gone as well, and it's 4. A lot needs to go right for short fine to cut it off when angling across, right arm over, leg stump. Just needs to get a little bit of glove on it, bit of thigh pad perhaps. Either way, it's 4 runs. It was off the thigh pad, leg by signals. Good running. Wheater off the mark.
They leant on that one. Soft hands, and it meant that Finn fielding at mid-off. What about trying to cut off the single? It came through rather easily.
So no Tim Mercer, no Ethan Bamber this evening for Middlesex. Past the outside edge, good from Helm to finish. 12 runs from the first over, which included the 6 and 4 leg byes. That target's 183. Darryl Mitchell will also be called upon at some stage, I'd expect. Very useful medium pace.
And nagging pace and length we often see from Mitchell. It's an expensive over from Middlesex to start. I think that we've got runs on the board. They will have been confident coming out here. That's a frustrating start from the home side.
Blake Cullen to kick us off from the nursery end. Having a good season, his first season of T20 Blast action. Picked up 3 for 33, career best figures at Glamorgan. Wasn't a bad effort with the ball. They restricted the home side to 150. It was the batting that let them down there, but 4 for Finn and 3 for Cullen. Extra yard there, top edge down towards third man. Finn, can he get to it? Not quite, it was actually Helm running in, not Finn. They come back for a second. In any case, it wasn't going to quite hang in the air long enough to mount a realistic dive.
It's one of those horrible in-between shots where you're not quite sure whether you want to try and save it running away to the boundary or you're in with a chance. Caught in between two minds, perhaps there, Helm.
So no sweeper on the offside with the exception of third man. Past the outside edge. He's quicker, isn't he, Cullen? You can just sense from watching him side on that he's got a bit of pace about him, the young man. He's been very impressive when given the opportunity across the last 2 years in the championship, and this year he's played every game in the Blast as well. All that experience around him with Steve Finn. Change to the field, third man up inside the circle for Wheater. Deep point goes out, Joe Cracknell in front of us. There's a real whippet charging around. He'll sweep both sides of the ground, I'm sure. And sure enough, the change is made and 4 runs down to third man. Frustrating for Finn, likewise for Cullen. But Wheater from the bottom of the bat through about 4th slip gets himself his first boundary.
Proper toe end of the bat there as we watch the replay. Gave himself room there, Wheater is too fine. The third man fielder. Head and hands moment as a captain, isn't it? Just when you made the fielding change.
Runs again. No deep finds, at least a couple there in front of the Warner stand. The long boundary relay throw comes in. They might consider a third, they don't. Bit of work there in the deep. Eskenazi in the game again. Can't keep him out of the game.
Just a bit two-sided at the moment. The opening bowlers. Essex off to a flyer.
Deep square, deep point to outside the circle. Nicely played by Wheater. Can he beat deep point? And he can. A rare misfield from Cracknell. Usually very safe patrolling the rope. That's gone through his legs. 2 boundaries in the over. Wheater up to 13.
Just flowing at the moment, these runs from Essex. Middlesex need to put a lid on this.
Charging to finish. Diving effort at catching cover. Can't drag it in. 4 more. Green had a lot of work to do there, moving to his left. And Essex have knocked off 28 of the 183 they need to win in the space of 2 overs.
Bit of flight there from Green, but really well struck. Adam Wheater, he moves to 13. Essex 24 without 28 even without loss.
So 16 from the second over. Back to Buttleman. It'll be Helm to continue. Deep square. Third man, the men outside the circle. Full. Attempted lap. Doesn't make contact. Almost a scoop more than the lap, wasn't it?
Premeditated shot there. It was full there for the taking. Sometimes you just don't hit him.
In the end, lucky not to get bowled. It went over the top of middle stump. Helm hitting the seam. All the lights on at Lords. Short fine leg to Cullen, they take him on. Get through comfortably. So a coolish and breezy evening at headquarters, but a great one for the fans after Middlesex really put the foot down with the bat, tallying 182 for 2, 102 not out for Stevie Eskenazi, his first century in T20 cricket for the club. Now what promises to be an exciting chase with Essex off to a bit of a flyer inside the power play. Change to the field, third man now up inside the circle. Deep point goes back. So, well, let's call it deep cover. Deep cover and deep square. The two outside the ring. Helm again. York sweeter there. Good bowling.
Just watching in front of us, fielder at mid-wicket, Chris Green, the Australian, warming up. See a bit of spin sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we saw Green bowl the first over out at Radlett last week. Can do it at both ends of the innings, often called upon to bowl at the death, which isn't that conventional for a spinner, but got a great set of skills, as they say, in the modern jargon. Swing and a miss again there from Wheater. Was attempting to do much the same as Eskenazi did earlier and go over the top of the short rope in our direction.
Yeah, one of those, you're just trying to pick it up off your legs, aren't you? Makes a beautiful sound when it works. It's a bit messy when it doesn't.
So Green drops back to deep mid-wicket. Deep point inside the circle. Cracknell moves around to backward square. The gap remains where we are. Short boundary. Slower ball, back of the hand. Well bowled, Tom Helm. It's quality cricket from him. Had the field for it too, with 2 out on the leg side.
Yeah, really well executed from Helm. Back in the side.
Something special about that back of the hand slow ball when you can see it get above the batter's eye line and dip. I suppose over here it would have been Ian Harvey when he was doing it for Gloucestershire season after season. Another variety of slow ball there, takes on cover. Eskenazi does the fielding, they get a single. So an excellent over, just 2 from it. Helms sent down a couple, conceding 10, 30 without loss after 3. Who else? Was there anyone else in the England team or the white ball teams when you were growing up that would go the back of the hand slow ball, getting it dipping? Anyone that jumps out? We had Ian Harvey in our summer, in the Australian summer. Then you had him in the English summer. He made a real art form of it. Simon O'Donnell, another early exponent of it. Might have been an Antipodean thing. Now it's certainly exported nicely around the world.
Yeah, it's something I think we've seen more so in the last decade or so. David Willey for England likes to change up.
Yeah, Willey does it beautifully, doesn't he? You can see the seam as it drops. Fine bowler. So it will be spin for the first time in Middlesex's defensive 182 by Chris Green, one of the 2 overseas players on the card tonight. Daryl Mitchell the other. Green's going to start with a deep mid-wicket and a long on. Dancing, lovely. Beautiful batting from Wheater. Over the top of cover, gets himself a boundary. Moves into the 20s. Wasn't that far away from Daryl Mitchell, but struck it so well. Even had it been within his diving arc, if you like, it would have taken some catching. Again in that direction, doesn't get as much of it, goes over the top of Mitchell towards the short rope. They take 2. Of course, Green has a fifer and a hat-trick to his name in this campaign, both coming against Kent in his final over. when all hell broke loose. 4 wickets in that stretch.
Yeah, made quite the impact, didn't he?
Played around the world, IPL, PSL, a star in the Big Bash for the Thunder. CPL, shouldn't forget that. Going to take 2 here. Bowler's end, got to be close, it's out! Oh, that's fantastic fielding from Govins. Over there at mid-wicket, had plenty of work to do, the turn and throw. Green had the presence of mind to call it to his end. And Essex lose their first wicket. Buttleman at the non-striker's end, he falls for 8. But 36 for 1.
Buttleman is not happy at that one. What a questioning of his partner at the other end. Wheater, why did you call me through? Questioning of the umpire. Young, pugnacious man has to go. Middlesex find their first.
Well, I must say, I mean, first impression was that could be just an easy single. It looked as though they weren't looking for the second until such time that they were there. And when they were committed to it, by that stage, ball was in hand. Excellent throw at the non-striker's end on the bounce, and Green, fabulous pair of hands, great athlete, was able to stick the landing at the non-striker's end. So Buttleman goes, and that just breaks the momentum that Essex were building. Dan Lawrence to the middle. Of course, it's Wheater on strike with 3 balls still left in this over. But Wheater will know that he's at least partially culpable for the downfall of his opening partner. Deep mid-wicket, long on, out. Short. Tries to get it over fine leg, takes the single. Well run there by Dan Lawrence. No concerns on that occasion. 38 for 1.
Yeah, I reckon Adam Wheater got an earful then, perhaps, from his partner as he walked off rather dejectedly towards the pavilion.
So Green to Lawrence. The excitement machine. How will he start? Deep mid wickets inside the circle. A glorious cover drive. Gee, down to the pitch of the ball. Conventional. Perfect.
Slightly over pitch there from Green. See there the shake of the head. Nicely lent into it from Lawrence. Off the mark with a 4.
Yeah, bisecting Cracknell and Mitchell. Last ball of the over. Lawrence should retain the strike, and he does. So an eventful over, 43 for 1 the score after 4. 2 still to come in the power play. The same stage of Middlesex's innings, they were 40 without loss. I wonder whether we'll see Helm again. We won't. It'll be the captain, Stephen Finn.
Array of Radio X DJs.
So Chris Moyles down there, enjoying that. Toby Tarrant as well, who've been part of supporting the work here we've had at Middlesex through the year, through Woodstock Cricket. Enjoying their night.
Yeah, just as the city starts to re-emerge, people going back to the offices. Thursday night, Friday night crowd returning to Lord's, returning for the likes of the Oval too. Oh, it's nice to be back with crowds.
So here comes Steve Finn, the captain. Had a fantastic game in this corresponding fixture last season at Lord's. They have some work to do here though, Middlesex. How will they set up? Third man's deep. That's Blake Cullen. Deep square leg as well. Oh, out towards deep square. Cracknell has some work to do. Keeps it in this time. Well parried. Scampering across to try and keep it to 2. They won't though. They come back for a 3rd.
Good work though from Cracknell in the deep. A similar one which he misfielded only a couple of overs ago. Now give him a bit more confidence.
Second ball from the captain, and he's through Adam Wheater with a quick full and straight Yorker. Stephen Finn on the money and in the book. Essex lose their second wicket with the score on 46, and what a lovely sight seeing Middlesex and off stump splayed.
White ball captain's good form continues. His first match with the armband, now that Owen Morgan's departed for England duties. Just a little bit hurrying up Adam Wheater there, and that's an important wicket as far as Middlesex are concerned, because Wheater got them off to a good start. Now they've got both openers out. Two new batters at the wicket.
Yeah, really good stuff there from Finn. That's experience, isn't it? He's seen Wheater shuffling across his stumps either way, trying to make room. But he miss you hit. That's the plan. That's plan A, and it's worked. Finn making an impact. Michael Pepper, new man to the crease. One of the young men in this Essex lineup. Got a job to do here at number 4. A lot of runs to chase. Short of a length. Deflecting into the offside to begin. Pepper, who came to the club as a wicket-keeper, but really sort of developing now as a specialist batsman. Had a really good first red ball game of the year against Derbyshire, making 92 when they were all out for 210. Bit of a pocket rocket, not too big, but gives it a wallop. Happy to come down the track as well here at Finn, playing conventionally. Inside portion of the bat out to Cracknell.
I'm just very happy that in the Vitality T20 Blast we have a Salt and we have a Pepper. They're pretty decent men at the crease. Phil Salt, of course, down in Sussex, I think. Still right? Still there.
Yep.
They've had a good start to their season.
The sun poking through over the top of the Warner stand opposite us. Finn to Lawrence, another Yorker, digs it out, gets a single, might look for 2. I'll be happy with 1.
Yeah, well in from the boundary there, Chris Green scurrying in with his blue trainers on. Very distinctive in the outfield.
So third man goes back again. Cullen sweeping down there. Cracknell at deep square. No, another change. Stephen Finn making changes most balls here. So Chris Green out to deep mid-wicket. Third man inside the circle now. Full, driven, glorious. A couple of lovely cover drives from Lawrence and now Pepper. Essex past 50 at the end of the 5th over.
Yeah, that's a good looking shot, isn't it? Nice high elbow, classical looking off drive. Show that one to the kids.
And there's that power we were talking about as well. Not a massive backswing nor a huge follow through, but strong through the forearms. Pepper gets a boundary from his third ball. See Daryl Mitchell into the attack. Middlesex. Being used at the nursery end initially. Has an economy rate of 9. Takes his wicket to 24, which is pretty handy at T20 level. Deep square, deep mid-wicket, both about 10 yards in from the rope. Slower ball to start off the pad of Lawrence around the short fine. They get a single. So when we were doing the Edgbaston test a couple of weeks ago, we were both impressed by the way that Mitchell bowled. Certainly on that first day, that holding role he played, but shaping the red ball, the red dukes, it must be said. Different kind of missile here tonight, but away from the right-hander, has a lovely outswinger on him.
It's one of those bowlers that's just tricky to get away, really. Nice and skiddy. Not particularly tall, so it's lower trajectory.
Catching cover, Cracknell there. Oh, there it is, leading edge towards mid-wicket. Happy with the single. The strike goes back to Lawrence, but they're looking for the leading edge on the offside with their field set up. Cracknell in there, well inside the fielding ring. Had he been on the onside, he would have been in the game.
Just seeing Nathan Souter warming up. Bit more spin from the other end, maybe.
Well placed. Should get a second. No, well cut off. Luke Holman racing around from mid-on. Another member of this North Middlesex collective. Luke Holman, Joe Cracknell, Ethan Bamber not playing tonight, but has been used throughout the blast so far. North Mid Cricket Club doing a great job producing young talent. Slower ball, rolls his wrist. Hit well, but stopped by Souter at backward point. Had to move well to his right. Got it on the half volley, so they were still able to get through for a single, but saved 3.
Yeah, for a moment there, it looked as though he was late on the dive. It was one of those, he almost flung himself backwards. Got a hand to the ball. Great bit of fielding.
Pat on the back from Eskenazi. Short.
Real effort ball as he came through. You could hear the grunt. Did its job. Dot ball.
You can see that Lawrence wanted to swing at it, but just realised it was just outside, far enough outside the off stump that it would have come with a fairly high degree of risk. Last ball of the power play. Another slower ball. Lawrence bunts it out towards mid-wicket. So 57 for 2 and the field can go out. Initially there'll be a hand sanitizer break. Lawrence 12, Pepper 7. Along the way so far, Essex have lost 2 wickets. So Middlesex were 56 without loss in their power play, but Essex have lost Buttleman and Wheater. Buttleman run out by Gubbins and Green, and then Wheater bowled by Finn, which means that Middlesex are in a comparatively strong position as spin is used from the pavilion end for the first time by Nathan Souter.
Yeah, Nijar getting that first Middlesex wicket in the 9th over. Middlesex opting their second spinner. Come on, is immediately after the power play done. An interesting battle now. Lawrence 12 not out. Souter with his first over.
So the field spread, 3 of the 4 inside the circle on the offside for the leg spinner. So a short third, backward point. Steve Finn there at cover. A short fine. Souter back in the first team after injuring an ankle last week. Played a game in the 2s on the way back through. And that's his stock delivery. Over the top of the wrist, bit of top spin. Always attacking those stumps.
A bit quicker than Green as well. Harder to get underneath.
Sweeping well. Eskenazi receiving a bit of applause from the crowd to our right after his century earlier.
I think the Eskenazi fan club is down to our right.
Another single. It'd be nice to have a personal fan club, wouldn't it? You can see that's where he was pointing his bat. Right to be very excited about bringing up 3 figures on a big night for the club. They need to win here, really. Oh, got to be close. Although the bowler did pull out of the appeal. Just on the sweep, west side on, but based on the way he played it, where it struck Pepper on the pad, not to be. Really good over there from Nathan Souter. Just 3 runs coming from it. 7 gone in the chase for Essex. They need 183 to win. They're 60 for 2. So the required rate is nearing 10.
Welcome back to first 11 cricket. Nathan Souter struggled a bit with that ankle injury. It's a good return to the side. Encouraging return to the side as far as Middlesex are concerned.
So it's going to be Steve Finn. He swung himself around to the nursery end. There was almost so much debate when Stephen Finn was playing Test cricket. Which end should he bowl at Lords, the nursery end or the pavilion end? Well, he's done both in the space of 2 overs here this evening in T20 cricket. Lawrence to 15. Mentioned last year in this fixture, Finn was really important. 2 wickets in 3 balls. Middlesex were able to defend 167 for 7 on that occasion. They won by 11 runs. Finn 3 for 18, Holman 2 for 26. Sure we'll see Luke Holman's leg spin soon enough. Short from Finn, top edge, over the keeper's head. And it runs away for 4.
Oh, there's a frustrating run from a bowler. You know you've hurried up the batter. Nothing you can do as the ball races away down to the boundary. Well bowled, unfortunate result.
It's got to put it behind you, don't you, as a bowler. That's Hyper's shot. Straight over Simpson's head, nothing he could have done about it. Bowl stroke all the same. Pepper into double digits. That's better. Middles it, but Eskenazi has plenty of time to gather that deep point in front of us.
Just getting that point in the evening where there's like chill in the air, hoodies on, beer jackets on, maybe.
Towards the long boundary, always a single there up the hill towards the grandstand. I think we played on a pitch that was even closer than this in the championship, didn't we? When Surrey were here, Izzy, when we were doing that game. That might have been 1 or 2 strips over. That would have been a lot of fun for a T20 game. Only really seen Eskenazi take it on so far. Another good over this. Sure, there was the boundary, but Finn's making it hard to swing the arms for Pepper. A lot of experience coming to the fore. Nathan Souter in the game there at backward point. Pepper attains the strike. 8 runs off the over, including the boundary. 8 overs gone. The required rate's up to 9.7. They're currently going at 8.5 and over. Got off to a flyer, of course. 28 after 2 overs, but they've added only 40 across the next 6. So really well dragged back by Middlesex, picking up 2 wickets along the way.
Yeah, there's 2 wickets, the real difference at this stage. Middlesex able to set that platform. Essex just starting to see that run rate, as I said, creep up. Still under 10.
Back to Souter. Here's the slog sweep. 1 bounce 4. Well played by Pepper. In the end, it wasn't much of a slog sweep. It looks like that's what he was shaping up for, but found the gap to the left of Eskenazi. Really well played. Good shout against Souter. You know he's going to be angling towards the stumps. Goes again. Fraction squarer. Eskenazi collects just in front of the rope. Have to be happy with the single.
Well fielded, well picked up. One of those that can be an awkward bounce.
gap, could be 2. Sent back.
Well fielded there, Cracknell onto it quickly. Made a lot of ground.
So Lawrence is 17 from 13 balls. A lovely cover drive for 4 from his first delivery. Back to Pepper. Will he sweep again? Thinks about it, checks his shot, goes through cover. You can see that back pad was inching towards the turf as Souter let the ball go. But a fraction wider, couldn't get down into the posture. Does here, goes big, into the mount stand. Lovely strike of the ball. Pepper moves to 25. He's got a plan against a leg spinner, and it's to attack the short boundary on the sweep. And he's doing it really well, Izzy.
Another one that wasn't that far away from the commentary box. Just backward of square leg, flat, sailing over the boundary. Evasive action taken by the crowd.
So Pepper going through the gears in this over. Last ball of it here. He'll retain the strike to deep mid wicket. Again, they could consider a second, but Lawrence says no. Pepper retains the strike. He's 26, 81 for 2. That brings that required rate down a fraction from 9.7 to 9.4, nearing the halfway mark. The cut-off, as we can see, is 9 p.m, so Middlesex have just 42 minutes to get through their overs before they'll get in strike. That should be fine. 11 overs in 42 minutes. You don't see it at test level, but in the blast they get through quickly. 2 of those will be Souters, I'm sure.
Especially, I think I'm right in saying that the Sri Lanka-England second T20 started at the same time as the match here, and they're only at the innings break. Sri Lanka having made a 111 for 7 from their 20 overs. Good bowling performance by England. 2 wickets apiece to Mark Wood and Adil Rashid.
The difference between T20 domestic cricket and T20 international cricket right there. T20 international cricket's a 4-hour game these days. We're still getting it in 3 hours here. Holman into the attack, the other leg spinner. Single at the deep mid wicket. Oh, they want 2. Oh, the chance for the run out? No, it won't be. Everything would have needed to have gone right for Cracknell there. Pepper adds a couple. He's 28, 85 for 2.
Yeah, Lawrence, the non-strikers then running the danger end. He knew from the beginning he wanted 2. Came back quickly.
Sun setting over the back of the Warner stand. Lovely sight. Reverse sweep. That's a lovely sight as well, but Pepper doesn't middle it. Souter does the fielding on the edge of the circle. Yeah, if you're playing in the IPL or playing T20 international cricket, you pretty much get 4 hours for one of those fixtures now, but this should be done inside 2 hours and 45 minutes according to the scoreboard. Well played down the ground again. That is a real beautiful sight, isn't it? Fans in the crowd tonight. Warner stand, sun behind it. Another single. See there, the sun's not been out at any stage really, but just as it's about to set, we're seeing it right over the back of that Warner stand, one of the newer fixtures here at Lord's. Up and over cover, there's a gap there, 1 bounce, 2 bounce over the rope. Well played again, the young man Pepper moving into the 30s.
Gorgeous sight, the sun streaming in. Good chase on our hands as well. It's going to be a tight one, I think, Adam. Beautiful evening for it. 89 for 2. 2 set batters.
Last ball of the over. Single round the corner again from Pepper. Likes to retain the strike. We've seen that in the last 4 overs, so we're halfway there. 90 for 2 is the score. Pepper 34 from 23. Lawrence 18 from 14. From here, 64 or 60 balls rather, so half the innings, 94 to win. So a required rate, of course, therefore, of 9.4. Izzy, over to you to steer us to the finish line.
Well measured chase so far from Essex. We've been going at 9s. Need to go 9.5, 9.4 and over. Lawrence and Pepper. Now the set batters at the crease. Chris Green going to change ends, going to try things from the pavilion end. Sun just peeking over the stand between the cloud. Floodlights on. Dart light delivery over the top of extra cover. Not going to go all the way.
This will be interesting watching the way that Pepper goes about this. We saw against the spin of Souter, so leg spin but aiming at the stumps. He wanted to take on the sweep. And there is a gap here at deep mid-wicket if he wants to do so again.
Green just manoeuvring the field, getting him in the right position. Big shrug before he starts. Nicely bowled. Oh, in with a chance. If Finn had picked that up cleanly. Little fumble in the field.
Yeah, half a look there for Finn, and he picked it up cleanly. To be. Big deep breath that Green takes before going into his delivery stride there. He's composing himself around the wicket.
As he played, thinking about 2. Mitchell onto it. One of the lovely quirks of watching Green bowl. Shrug of the shoulders, deep exhalation.
It's almost like a little brief meditation, isn't it? Same routine every delivery.
That one's wide, it's called a wide. Those angles there coming from around the wicket.
We talked a little bit about pace when Simon Harmer was bowling for Essex in the first innings, that he's got the confidence to send it down slope. Green has that as well.
This one struck well. And they'll come back for 2. The throw comes in. Well run.
I think the way that he sets up by just calming himself at the top of his mark, because there is a temptation as a spinner, isn't there? When you did it for a long time, is he bowling with the white ball, T20 game, get back to your mark, go again, get back to your mark, go again, and your pace gets quicker and quicker and quicker. We see it with the data gathered in international cricket.
Again, those angles. Trying to come across left shoulder of the batter.
Especially when a spinner's under pressure. But yeah, what Green does, he just gives himself a chance to take stock and think about what he's about to do. He's rushed for nobody, but still through his overs at a decent clip. He's not taking the mick, he's just doing it a different way.
And that's canny from him as well. You saw Lawrence there shuffle across his crease and decided not to let go of that one. The wide one. Lawrence reaching. Good battle here between the two sides. End of the 11th, 99 for 2.
Probably could have left that last ball. It would have been the second wide of the over, but maybe those mind games from the previous ball, or the one he didn't bowl rather, which meant that Lawrence stayed at home, wasn't across his stumps, and thus had to reach for it. Had he been across his stumps, he might have had a better chance to shoulder arms, knowing it was going to be outside the tram tracks, but not to be. Plenty of fans in tonight. Lovely atmosphere at Lord's on a Thursday. Exciting stage of the season, having a run of games at headquarters, second half of the group stage. Another one at Radlett, of course, on Sunday afternoon.
Wimbledon football shirt in the crowd. All sorts on a Thursday evening. Finn. Lawrence shuffling across his crease, and they'll come back for 2. Tumbling dive in the outfield. Chris Green got to it well. So that's what the 100 up then for the Essex Eagles. 101 for 2. Into the 11th over. A smattering of applause around the ground. Could be on for a tight one here. Again, Lawrence making room for himself. Just the single.
Feels like one of these games to me that he's set up perfectly for a final over finish. Yeah, a lot of work to do for Essex to get it to that stage, but just 2 wickets down, plenty of batting in the shed. They bat real deep, Essex, with Simon Harmer coming in at number 8. They can explode if they need to.
Hurried them up there.
But at the same time, Middlesex have loads of options. They've already used 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 bowlers, and none of those used so far have bowled more than 2 overs. So that'll give Finn the opportunity to mix it up as he has done so far. Being halfway through his 3rd.
Down the track, nicely advanced, shy of the non-striker's end. Would have been close.
He was home, but keeping him honest there, Nathan Souter. The right call, take a ping at the non-striker's end. I noticed a trend in our commentary that I always think it's not out, and you always think it's out. Run outs, that is.
Swing and a miss. Good looking delivery there from Finn. Got the better of Pepper. Tell you what, I'm concerned by this tape on Pepper's helmet. He came out with it, just flapping around. And I know that he looks over his left shoulder as a right-hand bat. It'd be in my eye line, I can tell you that much. Not concerning Pepper at the moment. He's 41 from 29. Slow ball, floaty delivery. They're going to come back for 2. No, they're not. Good end then to the Finn over. 12 overs gone. 8 left. Essex 105 for 2, chasing 183.
Good couple of overs there for Middlesex. The push and pull continues. Again, I wonder whether Pepper, who looks the more set of the 2 men, yeah, Lawrence the more senior, but Pepper the more likely, shall we say, whether he'll try and put a dint in this. I mean, it's all good and well to assume we'll get to the finish line and they'll have a target in the final over. 79 needed from 48 balls here, but it might require Pepper to chance his hand a little bit, take on the short boundary, as he did against Souter. It'll be Green around the wicket to him here, then out at cow corner and deep backward square, but deep mid-wicket, there's an opportunity here.
Green continues. Dug out nicely by Pepper. Moves to 43. That required run rate has just tipped into the 10s. 10 runs and over for the first time this evening.
Yes, that tiny little psychological barrier. It doesn't mean an awful lot in modern T20 cricket, I don't think, when it gets to 10s. I think it may have in the early years of the format.
Good movement across the crease. 2 fielders converge. The ball sails over their heads. Stan Lawrence there with a huge hit over mid-wicket.
Stand and deliver. We saw a crunching cover drive from Lawrence to start, but that's T20 cricket at its best. All muscle, all timing. Doesn't matter that there's a fielder at cow corner when you can hit it that well. You said it might be Pepper who takes the calculated risks. Well, Lawrence has plenty of experience. And that helps with the required rate back to 9.4, and of course the ball needs sanitising again because it's ended up in the crowd. It's been picked up, that's fine. No problems there.
There's a bit of disappointment around that stand that wasn't taken cleanly. Opportunity for your 5 seconds of fame. Nicely weighted. Good fielding. Stops the two. Look at the frustration there from Lawrence. Smashing his thigh pad twice, in fact. That's a nice vantage point.
Yep, behind us, won't it? Where we're commentating from today underneath Father Time.
That one's gone high. Green underneath it. And he takes it. Caught and bowled will be down in the scorecard. But he had to wait a few moments for that one. Enough time for a number of thoughts to go racing through your head. But Pepper, the in batter, he falls for 43.
We saw Green happy to go wide of the crease and push it across the right-handers in his previous over. One was called a wide, one just hit the tram tracks, and Lawrence got bat out to deep point. That was a similar kind of delivery, and we saw that Pepper wanted to sweep when he could. Lawrence popped Green over cow corner a couple of balls before, and again, just that presence of mind to stop, think about what he's doing, go back to plan A, which is pushing it across the right-handers. A premeditated shot from Pepper that brings his downfall. But yeah, I think well set up from Green. Deserved that wicket, and nicely snaffled too. Never easy when it's hanging in the sky for as long as that did.
Well, we have Jimmy Neesham walking back out to the middle for the first time since that innings in the summer of 2019 when they couldn't quite get New Zealand over the line. He's out with different colours. Essex this evening. Can he deliver? Oh, nice leg cut there. It's going to race down to the boundary and might beat the fielder, no. Wide round of applause. Gubbins there, gets there in time. Come back for 3, mind.
Just a wonderful thing about playing at Lord's. One side of the ground, all the way up the hill, and the other to the short boundary down the hill. Classic exercise in contrasts. Timed the pants off that, Lawrence. So interesting, the sweepers on the leg side aren't all the way back for Neesham. Deep mid wicket and deep square at 5-10 metres inside the rope.
Delicate push of the bat there for Neesham to get off the mark. End of the 13th over. Essex 117 for 3.
This will be really interesting how they set it up against Neesham. The first left-hander they've had to deal with, Middlesex, with the ball. I mean, will they back Holman, for example, to bowl it over at Neesham, knowing that the risk profile is quite high? He might get plonked out of the ground. Neesham's such a strong man, but also that carrot, dangling that carrot, might be enough to coerce an error. It won't be spin, it'll be Daryl Mitchell, so it'll be New Zealand all-rounder to New Zealand all-rounder.
So
all we need is Colin de Grandhomme to be here in the crowd, and we'd have the full set. Not to be, I'm sure he's celebrating somewhere in, I don't know, where would they be? No, they flew home today, didn't they? They'd be celebrating on a flight back to New Zealand.
Same stage, Middlesex after 13 overs or 107 for 1. Nicely pulled. Easy boundary. So Essex then ahead of the run rate. More wickets down, but some powerful hitting out in the middle.
Picked that up so early, wasn't it? The footwork into position, and a player like Neesham, if it sits up, he can kind of pick where he's going to place it. That gap here at mid-wicket. It's tantalising. Class.
A little shuffle across the stumps, nicely guided. Just a deft flick of the wrists. Neesham 6 from 3.
I'm sure Jimmy Neesham would have celebrated last night as well. I don't know whether he's with the team or not, but massive moment for New Zealand cricket winning that trophy. He almost certainly wouldn't have been with the team, so they were bubbled, but still, he was on social media doing his thing. The Twitter Bradman is his name. Bradman to Twitter, more to the point.
Outside edge. No matter. One, two, three for 3. Required run rate back under 10. So they're pacing themselves here, Essex. They know what they need to do.
Well, they're in striking distance, aren't they? 61 to get means you're one massive over, one big over, one bulky over from taking it as deep as you want, really.
Full. Bit of work in the outfield. Come back comfortably for 2.
.59 from here. You're almost one over of, say, 16 or 18 away from being able to really time your run.
Swing and a miss. Gave himself room there, Neesham. Quicker one there from Mitchell. Useful dot. Full aerial, just plugged in the outfield, and a lovely pickup there. Cracknell, I think it is, left-handed, wrong-footed, and still he stopped it. End of the 14th over then, Essex 127 for 3.
So much spin on that, wasn't there? Cracknell had to make a decision which way to go, but he read it perfectly off the turf. Had to get his hand in exactly the right place, and he did. Saved a couple of runs.
It's one of those reverse. You almost realise you've overrun it. But some nifty footwork. Nathan Souter is going to continue from the pavilion end. 2 overs so far. I've gone for 16 runs. Getting into the business end of this game here. Floodlights in full flow. Nicely weighted from Lawrence. Miscommunication because there's a misfield.
How do you play this if you're Lawrence? Do you go for that one big over, leg spin, short boundary?
Faster delivery there. Rocking nicely onto his back foot.
Yeah, much quicker, isn't it? Easier said than done. Taking on the leg spin, in theory, yeah, have a go. Bit of a managed risk. Happy to take it on, knowing that it's usually slower through the air, but not with Souter, always attacking the stumps. Changing the field, Eskenazi around the deep mid-wicket. Or should I say deep extra cover, with Neesham on strike, the left-hander.
Weighted from Neesham. Couple of bounces. Good areas from Souter. flatter delivery. Lawrence onto his toes, the head to the heavens, straight to the fielder. Just the one run then.
He just didn't middle it, did he?
And again, picks out the fielder. Middlesex won't mind that.
Last ball of the over.
Weighted, carved into the offside. Stubbins again, quick over the outfield. A pick up 2, 135 for 3.
So 5 overs, 49 runs. They're bang on the Duckworth-Lewis Stern pass score, which is a pretty good sign of where this game is at. Good luck picking the winner from here. From Middlesex's perspective, loads of options. Nathan Souters bowled 3 overs, Stephen Finn's bowled 3 overs. Lots of options there for the captain Finn, including a couple from Tom Helm, 3 from Blake Cullen, 1 here from Chris Green. He'll bowl his final over to Jimmy Neesham, being swung around again to the nursery end. So the second time that he's changed ends through the course of his 4 overs. Then for Essex, Lawrence looks set, 41 from 27, hitting the ball well, and Neesham has the short boundary here to the spin of Green.
Through him, flung his hands at it.
Will we see something resourceful in order to try and bring the short boundary into play? I mean, that was well outside the off stump. Great bowling. Will he shuffle over? Sets up well outside leg stump.
Full toss. All he could do is plug it into the offside there. Quick throw of his head upwards. Missed out.
See that frustration from Neesham, couldn't you? He realised that might be the one ball this over where he could throw his hands at it without a huge amount of risk, given the fielders are biased towards the leg side. 3 on the leg side rope. He could have really had a thrash at it through the covers, but not to be. 10.3 and over needed.
Nice and full from Green. Lawrence to 42, settles for the single. Look at a bottom edge there for the big heave-ho, scattered away.
Fraction fortunate there, Neesham. That could have gone anywhere. Again, good from Green, the faster one, the arm ball, the one off the index finger.
Moves his feet, inside out, over Eskenazi at extra cover. After a little lull in proceedings from the visitors. Needed that.
Yeah, opened up the offside, and fair enough too when you know that Green's coming across you. No one at deep extra cover. If you can get it over the man inside the circle, it's going to run away for 4, and that's prompted a change in the field as well. So Eskenazi comes up inside the ring at backward point. Holman, one of the preferred sweepers, does get around to deep cover where the previous boundary went. Lawrence on 46.
Oh, the final ball then. Chris Green's spell. 1 for 41 from his 4 overs.
Didn't do a tremendous amount wrong. Chris Green, 1 for 41. It may not look like a flattering analysis on paper, but they really went after him initially. Fought back well into the spell, picked up an important wicket when Pepper was really taking off, won that top edge, pouched the chance in his follow through, hanging high in the night sky. And a good over to finish there as well. So 4 overs, 24 balls, 42 runs. All set up for a top finish here at Lords, and Tom Helm comes back into the attack. So presumably he then bowls over 17 and 19, or maybe 17 and 20, and goes back to the nursery end to finish. But he bowled the first 2 from the pavilion end, which is where he'll continue from now. Long off, long on, deep mid wicket, deep square, deep point. So a gap at cover.
Nice looking shot there from Neesham, but can't find the gap. Scrappy throw back in. Still just the 2. Essex 144 for 3.
How are we going to set this up? If we're Steve Finn, 4 overs to go. Helm has this one. Are we penciling him in for 19, or do you hold him back for 20? He bowled the 20th over in a close finish here last year and did it well.
Just wonder, Nathan Souter has 1 left. It's quite an audacious move to keep the spinner going, but he's bowled well. Finn must have a couple as well.
Yeah, Finn's got 1. Souter's got 1. Holman and Cullen have got 3. I suppose Finn will bowl his from the nursery end, whether that's over number 18 or 20, yet to be seen. Yeah, it'd be punchy going with Souter next up.
Yeah, I think Souter or Mitchell, you'd imagine. Oh, he's got a hold of that one. Yes, he has. Dan Lawrence reaches his half century with a 6. Sailed over the fielder there at long on. He watched it for a while, thought he was in with a chance. It's too far and too high. Lawrence, you feel, is key to Essex chances here.
Yeah, love the bravado across his stumps before the ball was bowled. Waited for it, off-pace delivery, plonked it over long on, perfect timing, his second big 6. Great time for it.
This one dug out. Essex well positioned here. Lawrence very much in. Neesham, very capable partner. Middlesex needing wickets.
Yeah, and now Essex have pulled ahead on Duckworth Lewis. If you use that as a benchmark, Duckworth Lewis here's 146, they're 152. And the game has moved along a bit, hasn't it? It's less about the required rate, more about getting one of these 2 out.
Slow ball. And Neesham again frustrated. I shouldn't worry too much. Brings Lawrence on strike for the final ball of the 17th over.
So last ball of it, more changes to the field. Up comes deep square Cracknell. Instead he's being sent out to fine leg. third man likewise, so the short ball's still there for Helm if he wants it. Oh no, they're going to second guess that as well. Fine leg inside the circle. Long off and long on, remain out. Deep point, deep third and deep mid wicket.
Oh, don't get a 4 for that, will he? No. Backspin, just carving it along the ground. Third man on the boundary. Lovely shot at the top of the MCC pavilion. Beautiful evening here in London. We've got a chase on our hands. Essex requiring 29 from 18 balls. Lawrence in on 55. Neesham there in his first innings since that World Cup final in 2019 at Lord's. And Middlesex in search of wickets.
Yeah, 29 needed from 18 balls. Essex win this if this pair are there in the 20th over, I would say, from here. Hard to imagine a scenario where they don't have enough muscle. So it's going to come down to whether Stephen Finn can get rid of one or both of them. He'll send down the 18th. It'll be his 4th. 1 for 23, his analysis so far. He knocked over Wheater with his second delivery, a lovely Yorker that splayed the offer middle stump. Setting up with deep mid wicket, long on, long off, deep cover third man. So fine leg and square leg, both inside the circle, round the wicket.
Full toss. Bottom of the bat, just a single. Good outcome for Middlesex.
It was at this end where Neesham was facing up against Jofra Archer in that super over and hit a towering 6 into the second deck of the mound stand. He's never really lacking in confidence, Neesham.
Yeah, don't listen to him on social media. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. Fine cricketer.
Slower ball, well weighted. Another one. That's okay as far as Middlesex are concerned.
Yeah, Nick Gubbins didn't bat earlier, but executed one run out, and he's been wonderful manning the rope on the fat side of the ground, I suppose you would call it, the long side. He's seldom given away two. He's usually been set about 5 to 10 metres inside the rope to make sure there wasn't two on offer. Really good fielding after an excellent Finn slower ball.
That one's back up at pace. Another single. Hear the applause around the ground. They know this could be a tight one.
Yeah, 3 singles to start the over. This is the time to strike. This will be where Lawrence and Neesham know they need a boundary just to keep the momentum of the chase going. Big delivery this.
Top of it nicely by Lawrence, but I think it'll be another single. Indeed it is. Sent back. Lawrence looking for another one. Neesham decides it's too risky.
Yeah, Neesham would know that Daryl Mitchell's a fine fielder. He was charging in from the corner of the ground, really. More deep extra cover than long off, but made sure they only got one. Brilliant work.
And it's called a wide. Oh, for a moment there, you thought that Finn had bowled a sublime dot ball. Umpire there took a moment just to turn to the scorers, holding his arms aloft. Frustration there from Captain Finn.
Yeah, all eyes on umpire Paul Baldwin there, but it was well outside the tram tracks. No worries with that decision.
This one's been clobbered, but on the bounce it finds the fielder. The comeback for two though. All happening here, all nicely set up.
Neesham just hasn't been able to middle one off Finn. That was the ball, wasn't it? Picked it up, saw it early, at the Q end of the bat nearly, or at least low on the blade. Gets one more chance here.
This one he has got hold of. Sails high over the mid-wicket boundary. And I think it may well have been caught in the crowd.
That's some kind of catch. Neesham has hammered that into the bottom deck of the mound stand. And look, he might have had a few by this stage as well, and if he has, good luck to him. Judging by the reaction from his mates. Yep, clinking cups, clinking glasses. But he saw it early, took the catch. Great way to end the over for that young man, and a great way to end the over for Jimmy Neesham. So 16 runs left on the board, 2 overs to go, and so close for Finn to close out what was, until that point, a very good over for the home side.
Yeah, it's real heartache there for the home side. They're looking good, nicely set up, early wickets. It's a killer blow, the final ball, the 18th. Frustration for Middlesex, frustration for the captain. Finishing the over with a 6 against him. 168 for 3. They need 16 to win. 2 overs left. Nicely dug out.
So this is interesting, because they've taken 2 there to start the over, 14 to go. They've gone with Helm here. I suppose on the basis that if they leave Helm for over number 20, they could have the game lost by then. But it does pose an interesting question. Who will be charged with that responsibility? Blake Cullen, perhaps?
This one's gone high. There's a man underneath it, down to the third man fielder. He's got it. Gubbins there. Cullen underneath it. And suddenly, Middlesex are back in the game.
Oh, the young man, Cullen, that hung in the air for such a long time. He went fingers down too, and probably took it beneath his knees. I mean, we've seen him show maturity beyond his years in the county championship with both ball and bat. But that, with fans in tonight here at Lord's, and all of them hanging on what would happen next. And it does mean the end of Daniel Lawrence. It is the breakthrough that Middlesex needed. It could be the turning point. It could be the twist. Fantastic game of cricket, this.
Well, as the elder statesman then, Ryan Tendescarter, 41-year-old, making his way to the crease. He knows how to finish things. Two experienced batters now here. Helm. Oh, and the umpire, he's called it. It's a no ball. Very stern looking.
I'm just not a fan of the no ball for... I mean, it's a wide in every other form of cricket, yet you come to the blast and it's a no ball. I understand what they're trying to do, but the bouncer has been an important part of T20 cricket. And what you do with that is you disincentivise it. Bowlers won't bowl short, and we want to see short bowling in short form cricket.
Oh, well executed, slower delivery. Neesham threw everything at it. That's a good reply.
Yeah, with a free hit as well. All the pressure loaded up on Tom Helm, and back to slower ball. We saw it earlier, didn't we, at the back of the hand?
This one he's waited on better. Gubbins is quick across the outfield, but the throw slightly errant. That means that Neesham comes back for 2. He moves to 30. Essex 174 for 4. They need just 10 to win. 2 balls left to the penultimate over.
Gee, I tell you what, this is a massive delivery. Helm to Neesham. How will Neesham play this? So covers inside the circle with Finn. He's a lovely driver of the ball in a more classical fashion. Big delivery.
And he's bowled him. Jimmy Neesham just hurried him up. And Tom Helm has his man. And the game, it stays alive. He's gone for 30. 174 for 5. 1 ball left to come with the penultimate over. What have we in store here tonight?
Yeah, extra pace, effort ball, hits the seam, down the slope, hitting the top of middle and off. Absolutely perfect from Tom Helm, just when his captain needed it. He's picked up both wickets in this over. The 2 incumbent men, they needed one. They needed one to get to the 20th over to be a realistic chance. Well, he's got them both. Two new men at the crease in Walter and Tenduscarter. Neither of them have faced a delivery. 7 balls left and the balance tilts back towards Middlesex again perhaps. We'll go thriller at Lords.
Final ball then at his Helm over. Just the 1. Middlesex are still in it. Essex need 9 to win then off the final over. 2 new men in. Who's going to take it? Is it Mitchell? I think it is. The experience of Daryl Mitchell is going to take the final over for Middlesex as they look to defend their total of 183.
To think that Helm went for just 5 runs in that over and it included a no ball and a free hit and 2 wickets. I mean, what a performance, Tom Helm. Back into the side after having an absence in the team via COVID-19. Came back through the 2s. From the pavilion end tonight, he's done the job at the back end of the innings, bowled nicely off the top as well. Over to Daryl Mitchell, all of his experience. He's got 9 runs to play with. Bowling at the big man Walter, he's faced just 1 ball, Tenduscarter up the other end, hasn't faced a delivery. Brilliant stuff here at Lords. 3 out on the leg side.
Mitchell then. It's a full toss, it's almost a waist high one, but it might be caught and it is! Chris Green out in the deep. Missed time there. And Walter, the tall left-hander, tucks his bat under his arm. A wry smile there from Green. It was a filthy delivery, but it's got the wicket. And suddenly Middlesex, they're buoyant here at Lords. They've got their 6th.
How often do we see it? The full toss, filthy as it is, can be so effective at the back end of T20 games. And on that occasion, I mean, he probably had enough time to think about trying to whack it over the leg side. The short boundary wouldn't have needed to have gotten all of it to have gone for 6 and broken the back of the chase once and for all. But tried to go through the offside where there was 2 out and ended up picking out Chris Green, who is, as we've seen on 2 occasions tonight, has a fantastic pair of hands. And, well, look for him here to win 9 runs, 5 balls. Neither of the batsmen, Simon Harmer or Tenduscarter, have faced a delivery. It'll be Tenduscarter. They did cross, but different gravy this.
Big swing and a miss. No, he's caught the outside edge. 2 balls, 2 wickets to the New Zealander. Simon Harmer, the captain, he walked in, he walked out. And Lords, on a Thursday night, for the first time in a long time, is absolutely rocking.
You better believe it. And Daryl Mitchell, on his Middlesex debut, is on a hat-trick in the 20th over. It is by no means game over. 1 sound blow from these final 4 balls, and, well, They can still do it, Essex, although they have capitulated, haven't they? 3 wickets in the last 7 deliveries. Make that 4 wickets in the last 8 deliveries. I'll tell you what, they were in cruise control with Lawrence and Neesham at the helm. Now Aaron Nijjar has to try and find a way to keep the board ticking, but Mitchell on a hat-trick. Here we go.
I think he's going to get a build-up from the crowd. They're enjoying themselves here. It's a close one. We said it would be. Daryl Mitchell, hat-trick ball. Here he comes. Big swing. Thick outside edge. It runs away to the boundary. He didn't get hold of that one at all, but it's done what he needed it to do. And after all that hope, Essex once more in the ascendancy.
What a game of cricket this is. Just opened up the leg side a little bit, went leg side rather to open up the offside. That's where the gap was behind point, up the hill, slowly but surely rolled into the rope. 5 runs to play with 3 balls to come, all the experience of Mitchell. And the pressure transfers on the Steve Finn. How does he set it up? Deep cover, long on, long off, deep mid-wicket and deep square, fine leg and third man inside the circle.
Beautiful catch, and Mitchell has his third in the over.
Stunning cricket, T20 at its best. Push and pull throughout the chase. Izzy, we called it, we knew it'd be a final over thriller. We've got the close one at Lords, that's for sure. 5 wickets in the last 2 overs and it's not done yet.
Just exhausted watching it. Can't think what's going through the players' minds out there. Wickets tumbling, runs between them. And it's Sam Cook, who's been brilliant with the ball throughout this season so far. Can he do it for his side with the bat? 179 for 8. Essex need 5 to win. 2 balls to come.
Deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off. Deep cover, Eskenazi in front of us here. So fine leg, third man are up. Southra again prowling at backward point. What a catch that was before.
It's going to be a single. That's it. 4 runs required off the last ball of this absolute thriller between Middlesex and Essex. 3 runs to tie, 4 runs to win. Daryl Mitchell, so much experience. Finn, hands on hips, manoeuvring the field. He wants to get this right. Harmer, yet to face the ball. It's going to be the one to do it. Lively crowd around us.
Deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, deep cover again.
4 needed for the win. Boundary or nothing. Here comes Mitchell. And it's flung off the outside edge. It's going to run away to the boundary, and it does. Essex have won off the final ball here. Harmer and Cook, they hug each other. Racing around, it was in the air, it was beyond the clutches of the man at short third. Eskenazi, the Centurion, beneath us, is on his knees. He cannot believe it. Essex, of the final ball here at Lords, have defeated Middlesex. It has been quite the game, Adam Collins.
What a finish. Last ball, third man was up. I mean, it worked from the previous delivery, or 2 balls before it, backward point. On that occasion, Souter was able to get it and drag in a fine catch, but the Middlesex crowd are stunned. They did everything right in the last 2 overs. 5 wickets. Helm bowled the house down. Likewise, Stephen Finn from the third last over. And Mitchell couldn't have done much more. Created the false stroke. Last delivery. Big swing from Harmer. Thick edge, just clearing. Short third man. And we watched the ball slowly but surely run into the rope. The winning runs had 1 ball to face Simon Harmer. It's a moment he'll never forget. Boundary off the final ball to win it. A thriller at Lords. Outstanding T20 cricket. Somehow, they've done it by 2 wickets.
Yeah, it's quite the scorecard to dissect. Just the one centurion from it. Stevie Eskenazi not out at the end. He carried his bat, 102 from 61 deliveries. They looked good, they looked to be cruising. They came out of the interval in buoyant mood, but then Essex off to a flyer. And Awita 26 from 17. Dan Lawrence really manoeuvring the innings in the middle order. And then those cameos there. Michael Pepper and Jimmy Neesham steered them over the line. My goodness me, what a night.
Yeah, that big partnership between Jimmy Neesham and Dan Lawrence. I mean, really, Izzy, it did look game over with 3 overs to go, didn't it? It felt as though that pair, if one of them made it to the final over, that Middlesex would have lost comfortably, maybe by 5 or 6 deliveries. But the penultimate over, Tom Helm goes bang bang. Blake Cullen, fantastic catch down at third man. And then a glorious delivery to skittle Jimmy Neesham for 30. And then it's game on, final over, 9 to win. Daryl Mitchell, all his experience, and he goes wicket to start the final over. Aaron Najjar walks out. What turns out to be an important cameo, over backward point, gets himself a boundary, caught in that position from the next delivery. 3 wickets in the over. 3 wickets from 4 balls to start the over, a boundary as well. The single from Cook, the all-important single, giving the strike to the captain, which meant that from the last ball, it was going to take something special. And in the end, the ball hit the edge of Harmer's bat and ran away for a boundary. An extraordinary finish. A huge thanks to our enhanced live stream sponsors, Duke's, summer's most refreshing and invigorating alcohol-free drink, for being with us tonight on the Middlesex stream. Thank you to everybody who's been watching on YouTube, or wherever you've been picking up the feed and commenting and all the rest of it. It's been absolutely appreciated. I'm just thrilled that we're back at Lords with fans, and we've seen a mighty game of cricket. I think both teams performed exceptionally, but in a game like that, there's going to be some very disappointed boys in that Middlesex dressing room, because they did so much right tonight, not least Stevie Eskenazi, an unbeaten 102. But the way they held their nerve at the end as well, the bowling was fantastic, just wasn't to be.
Well, that's what we tune in for, games like that go right down to the wire. We've seen some wonderful batting. Eskenazi with his first century in T20 cricket. You've enjoyed that, but gutted in the end not to get the win. Welcome back as well to first team cricket to Tom Helm, 2 wickets for 30. Daryl Mitchell, 3 in and over. It all happened, but for Middlesex, it wasn't to be. And they languish at the bottom of that table. Well, for Middlesex, their thoughts turn to the Oval tomorrow night, where they take on Surrey in the derby. And Essex will be in action down at Chelmsford, their home ground against Kent. So it's been quite the thriller here. Essex win off the final ball by 2 wickets. They're 184 for 8, beats 183 for 2. I've been Isabel Westbury, beside me Adam Collins, and that'll be it for this evening. Good night.